Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Mars Day. How is everybody feeling coming off of yesterday's Aries moon? The moon is still in Aries this morning. And I know a lot of people were really still feeling that tension between Venus and Chiron pulling away from a square to each other yesterday as well. So the past couple of days have brought a little bit of an intense energy. Luckily, what's going on with the moon today can help us calm down just a little bit. But first, we have some really transformative transits to talk about. So grab your coffee. I have mine in my little Boston Terrier mug. This morning it's a Christmas mug. So we're already thinking about Christmas in this household. And I just also want to start by saying thank you so much to everybody who supported this live stream through buymeacoffee.com. It's a donation site I set up, and you can donate to fuel future live streams and help buy future coffees, which is how these live streams are being produced right now, thanks to coffee. So we'll get a little sip of that, and we will hop into our transits of the day. If you're coming in on YouTube, on Facebook, go ahead and comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know how the energy is feeling for you, because this isn't just my show or my astrology forecast. I really do like to take into account the energy everybody is feeling right now. So let's show you the chart currently. The moon is still in Aries, as we talked about, but 24 degrees Aries down here. So it's making its final trek through the sign. The major transit we're talking about today, though, has to do with the sun. So the sun and the moon are both connecting with Pluto today. Pluto, the farthest planet, the shadowiest planet, the planet of transformation, change, death, and rebirth. Both of our luminaries are connecting to this planet today. And keep in mind, Pluto also rules Scorpio. We are in our last week of Scorpio season now. So today could be a really transformative day. It could be a day where you're thinking a lot about what's changed over the past year, what's changed so far this Scorpio season, and really what you've learned. So you can see here the sun is now at 24 degrees Scorpio, and Pluto is at 24 degrees in Capricorn. Pluto moves very slowly, so it's been hanging out in Capricorn for quite a long time. It'll be here for quite a long time. And what's really interesting about Pluto is that the United States is coming up on its Pluto return in February. So a lot of the change we've seen societally this year when it comes to structures being dismantled, people questioning power, people having a deeper understanding of the structures of our government through the current events over the past, 4 or 5 years now, people have gained a greater understanding. So we can think of Pluto in the same way when it comes to ourselves. It's really the planet that asks us to go deep within and confront our own shadows, see what's not working, see what structures might need to be rebuilt, or what beliefs might be holding us back or subconsciously influencing our actions. So you might have already felt this energy over the past 3 weeks during Scorpio season, ruled by Pluto. Today, though, we could really see a shift in our identity, or a revelation about our identity, with the sun in Scorpio sextile to Pluto in Capricorn. So a sextile is a supportive angle. It's when these two planets are in signs of elements that complement each other. So the sun is in a water sign and Pluto is in an earth sign. These two elements work together, which means the energies are working together. Essentially, we're getting this boost of Pluto energy today, with the sun in a sign ruled by Pluto connecting to the planet itself. And the sun rules the self, the ego. It rules our personality. It rules kind of our main traits. So we could be doing a lot of introspection today about what it means to be us. What is our makeup? What are our motivations? This could really reveal deeper motivations. Actually, one of my friends posted this great video to TikTok and Instagram last night talking about how she realized that she had always been a giver. She had always taken pride in being able to offer something to other people, being able to help other people, which is a great quality, right? Well, she just had this revelation. She's a therapist, by the way. She just had this revelation that when she was giving things to people, she had a selfish motivation. She was expecting something in return. She was expecting to be liked. So that I bring up that example because it's a good representation of understanding our deeper motivations. We could have these realizations today that the actions we take even regularly, daily, might be coming from a place we didn't know they were coming from. This is going to be a deeply introspective energy, especially in this last week of Scorpio season as we lead up to Friday morning's full moon, which is also a partial lunar eclipse. We're really feeling a lot of dense energy, stagnant energy clearing out and making way for some new energy. However, eclipse season brings a little bit of chaos with it. So we are expecting this week, really for the next month, to start to see dramatic shifts or just more chaotic energy. So what can we do to prepare for that? Well, the moon, or the sun, excuse me, sextile Pluto can really help us tap into our own inner power and get a solid footing before eclipse season, before Sagittarius season, even before the holiday season, before we're around friends and family, before it's easier for our energy to be thrown off through all of these social situations or just chaotic planetary transits. So really use this sun sextile Pluto transit, which goes exact at about 1 o'clock today, to tap into your power. But once you do that, once you figure out those deeper motivations, really find that power, make sure you're using it for good. Okay, because the sun in Scorpio is definitely sassy. Scorpio brings the sass for sure. And Pluto in Capricorn can also be a pretty, even though it's an earth sign, it can be a pretty agitated, intense sign as well, especially when it comes to control and feeling out of control. So make sure that as we're getting this boost of Pluto energy, we're not letting our dark side come out too much, because both of these energies are really about our shadows, and those can come to light when the sun is forming a supportive angle to the planet of shadows, almost shining a light on our shadows. So use it to your benefit by exploring those deeper parts of yourself, maybe exploring your ego, exploring those deeper motivations, and really acknowledge what you've learned so far this Scorpio season. Give yourself credit for the transformation you've already experienced so far this month, this week, this year, whatever it is. Give yourself credit for how much you've grown. And this transit could also shed light on a situation or even a state that we've been trying to resolve. So if you feel like you've been on the verge of something, or you're trying to resolve some confusion, some dense energy, this could help you do that. And by the end of the day, really, if you lean into this supportive energy between the sun and Pluto, you could step further into your own transformation. So keep that in mind. Try not to go too much to your dark side. We do have to explore our darkness to find our light. We know that. And this transit will really help us do that. But it could be easy to have a little bit of an ego trip, especially because the moon is in Aries. So let's talk about the moon now, because not only is the sun connecting with Pluto, but the moon is connecting with Pluto today as well. I know we call it Mars Day in astrology, but it's really going to feel more like Pluto Day. And Pluto doesn't actually rule a day. So I'm declaring today, November 16th, 2021, Pluto day, at least during this live stream. So the moon is still in Aries. You've probably been feeling that energy over the past couple of days. It's been in Aries. You can see it's kind of at the end of its trek through that sign right now. And the moon in Aries makes us a little more irritable, a little more agitated. It can bring us this boost of energy or this like need for movement, physical movement. But it can also, if we don't move that energy, kind of blow up or just feel like anger coming through. Luckily, after the moon is connecting with Pluto right now, actually, it goes void for the rest of the day before it enters Taurus tonight. So we're getting this last little dose of the moon in Aries. However, it's going to pack a punch. So you might have actually woken up in a really good mood this morning because the Aries moon first formed that same supportive angle we've just been talking about, a sextile to Jupiter. That was about 6 o'clock this morning Pacific time. So if you woke up and you were feeling really optimistic or you were feeling in a really good mood, you can attribute that to Jupiter. The Aries moon getting support from the planet of optimism, abundance, and even though the moon is in Aries and it can make us a little bit more ego-fueled, a little bit more agitated, with the supportive angle from Jupiter, we'll enjoy being around others. We'll enjoy whatever we're doing. We'll enjoy the company we're around. And starting our morning, even now, even though this transit has already gone exact, it's still forming a loose sextile to Jupiter. So if you are really feeling that Aries energy and you felt it yesterday, I know I did. I was like just irritable for a lot of the day yesterday, and tracking the transits, following the transits has allowed me to say, okay, the moon is in Aries. I don't need to like find a reason why people are pissing me off. It can just be attributed to the moon, which has really been powerful for me personally. And I hope that you can take that away from some of these live streams as well. Sometimes there's not a logical reason for our emotions, you know, or I guess sometimes the logical reason is that the planets are moving around. At least that's what has helped me, like I said. So we start our morning off with a boost of optimism. And if that Aries energy has been kind of weighing you down or making you feel a little bit grumpy, starting your morning with gratitude will really help you out today. And this support from Jupiter can help you lean into that gratitude. So if you are looking for a way to set yourself up for success today, start by writing down 3 or 5 things you're grateful for. It can be a super simple practice, but it can get you in the mindset, really help you lean into that Jupiter energy, that abundant energy as we head into what's likely to be a little bit of a deep transformative day. So by 7 o'clock this morning, the moon squared off to Pluto, and you can see that here on your chart if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. So the moon is at 24 degrees in Aries and Pluto is at 24 degrees in Capricorn. They're 3 signs apart or 90 degrees apart, forming a square. So the sun forming this supportive angle to Pluto looks like a boost of Pluto energy. It looks like Pluto is supporting the sun. This transformative planet is supporting our own personal transformation of self. A square between the moon and Pluto is going to bring more of an activating energy. So it can really push that transformation, especially when it comes to our internal emotions. This is going to bring that deep introspection, especially ahead of the full moon when it feels like our emotions might be more chaotic or more is coming up for us. We just had that square between Venus and Chiron yesterday, really triggering our deepest wounds around relationships. You might have felt that over the past couple of days. So we've already kind of been in that introspective mode through Scorpio season. The moon squaring off to Pluto is going to take that a step further. It's going to push that transformation even more. And this is a waxing gibbous moon as we head towards the full moon, which represents the final steps in a journey before the full moon, the pinnacle. And once we hit the full moon, we start to release. So the full moon comes at the very end of Scorpio season. It can be seen as sort of a culmination of your entire transformation, of everything you've learned. And this full moon, this release could look like a shift, something chaotic, something unexpected, because it is a partial lunar eclipse. Really reflect on all the steps you've taken so far this year, this Scorpio season, and ask yourself if there are any other steps you need to take to get to where you want to be or to complete that transformation. This activating angle between the moon and Pluto could bring an urge or almost a primal instinct to make that change. It could be that final little nudge you need to fully step into your emotional power. Pluto can also force us to see what's weighing us down emotionally. So you, again, in this deep introspection, you could have these profound breakthroughs today. Now, it's important, the Aries moon is combative, it's a little bit aggressive, and it's forming this conflicting, tense angle with Pluto, which is also a really intense planet. So, as much as I'm talking about how great this can be for our transformation, how much we can lean into the energy of change, change can also activate us. It can also make us super triggered. So with the moon in Aries, it's easier to lash out at other people. With the moon and sun forming connections with Pluto, it could make us a little bit more reactive or a little bit angrier, just having intense emotions overall. So really try to be mindful of how you're treating others and what you might be projecting out onto others, what internal conflict you might be pushing outwards. And being able to do that will really help you own your own power once you realize, okay, maybe that person isn't actually activating me. Maybe it's something within me that's been activating me. That could be the transformation you have in itself today. Just understanding yourself better can be one of the most powerful transformative things that you can do. We have some people tuning in. Jackie says, good morning. She says, oh my gosh, yes, I'm feeling the deep introspective energy since I woke up this morning. Yeah, so you are right on track, Jackie. The moon right now is forming that square to Pluto. So I like to talk about the shadow and light of each transit because having deeply introspective energy isn't a bad thing, but it can be a little bit uncomfortable, right? It can be a little bit vulnerable. And with the Aries moon, we kind of want to step into that warrior energy and push away discomfort and kind of feel in control, feel like we're taking action towards something, when sometimes Scorpio, Pluto just wants us to sit in stillness and do that deeply introspective work. Jenny says, good, need the support today. I got you, girl. If you need support, I got you. But, today could be a day where you want to just take some time to yourself and really process all of the steps you've taken so far, all of the growth you've experienced so far, all of the changes you've been experiencing right now, especially you, Jenny. You've been going through so many changes lately, and really honor how much you've grown, how much you've learned through that process. So the moon goes void after about 9 o'clock this morning Pacific time. All day, the moon is going to be void. What does a void moon mean? It just means the moon's not making any connections to other planets before it enters Taurus, a new sign tonight. And void moons can kind of bring this sleepy energy. It can bring a little bit of a calmer energy, which could be welcome after the moon's been in Aries over the past couple of days, because our energy has not been calm with the moon in Aries, that's for sure. We had this nice relaxing weekend with the moon in Pisces, or at least Saturday, and then that moon jumped into Aries on Sunday, gave us this fresh energy, and might have brought some agitation with it. So a void moon could feel very welcome for most of the day today. If you're experiencing that intense energy this morning, you're deeply introspective this morning, don't worry, by the afternoon, things should calm down a little bit. And it's not recommended to start anything new while the moon is void, because new projects started under a void moon don't tend to carry too much weight or amount to anything substantial. However, again, shadow and light of each transit, we can use the void moon to our advantage by having any hard or triggering conversations with other people, or doing anything that we've kind of been avoiding doing because it might be activating to us. Because the moon is void, it can kind of help damper any intense emotional reactions either within us or towards other people. Or if you have to have that difficult conversation with someone else, the void moon could be a good time to do it because it likely won't blow up or amount to much. Even if it's uncomfortable, it shouldn't create any problems for you long term. By 6:30 tonight Pacific, the moon moves into Taurus. It's very comfortable in this sign. The moon is exalted in Taurus. It loves to be in Taurus. And it can definitely make us feel like we just want to bundle up and stay home on our Tuesday night. We can throw on our coziest sweats, order in or make a decadent meal, something that really feels nourishing to us. Even better, we can invite close friends or family over. We could FaceTime a close friend, schedule that Zoom call, and just really surround ourselves with things that make us feel loved and things that put us at ease. That's what the moon in Taurus is all about. When the moon is here, it's all about feeling good and being surrounded by love, whatever that means to you. Sometimes being surrounded by love looks like putting your big fluffy blanket around you and just giving yourself that self-love. And sometimes it means being surrounded by the people you love or the food you love or the art you love. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So it's all about that sensuality. And being an earth sign, it's all about that physical comfort when the moon is in Taurus. And the moon's going to hang out here until it becomes full on Friday. So starting tonight, we're going to get into that energy of the full moon on Friday and of the partial lunar eclipse on Friday as well. So we could already be feeling that activating energy from the eclipse, that chaotic energy potentially from the eclipse. But not to worry, we're prepared for it. You're watching this right now. You're already prepared, which means you likely won't be blindsided by anything. And even if you are, you already have the tools because you're prepared. Let's see. Robert says, time to clock in for an 8 o'clock meeting, but it's been inspirational listening to you today. Thank you so much, Robert. I love comments like that. Just make my whole day, and it's not even 8 a.m. right now. Thanks so much for watching. All right, so when the moon moves into Taurus, we can all just kind of relax a little bit, settle in, get cozy, and maybe even batten down the hatch for the full moon on Friday. This can also, with the waxing gibbous moon in Taurus, help us take those last steps, take any last actions or preparedness for the full moon before we hit that releasing period and before eclipse season starts. So we're going to talk more about eclipse season on Friday. Actually, I'm going to have a really fun guest on this show on Friday to go over the full moon and the eclipse and what it means for you and what we can expect over the next month. So be sure to tune in for that if all of this eclipse talk has you interested. Let's do a final overview and then we will pull a card. So if we look here on our chart, we can see that the sun is forming a sextile to Pluto today. It's getting support from the planet of death and rebirth. What does that mean? Well, the sun is in Scorpio. Pluto rules Scorpio, which means this is going to bring a boost of intensity. It could look like a shift in your identity, a transformation of your identity. Reflect on everything you've learned so far this Scorpio season, so far this year. Give yourself credit for how much you've changed, how much you've grown. Celebrate the rebirth you've already experienced. Not only does the sun connect with Pluto today, but this morning the moon forms a square to Pluto. This is really going to activate that transformation. This is a tense angle, so it pushes us to take action. This could look like a final emotional release or an emotional breakthrough, some sort of shift or change that pushes us closer to where we've been heading this Scorpio season and where we've been heading this year. This morning, the moon also gets support from Jupiter, so really lean into gratitude, especially if you are dealing with difficult emotions or confronting your shadows. Gratitude can definitely be your friend today. And again, just give yourself credit for how much you've grown so far. Celebrate how much you've changed so far. By this afternoon, the moon goes void, the energy calms down a little bit, and tonight the moon moves into Taurus as we prepare for Friday's full moon in Taurus, and helps us settle in, get a little bit cozier, get a little bit more comfortable, and bring in the things we love and the things that make us feel really good. So that is the energy for today. I've got my dog scratching at the door. I don't know if you can hear him. Karina says, today is my last day of being 34. Tomorrow is my 35th birthday. Karina, you are literally having a transformation of self. This is so perfect with Pluto forming a sextile to the sun, literally helping you transform and become the next version of yourself in your next year. Happy early birthday if I don't see you tomorrow. Beautiful Scorpio, I hope you have the best day tomorrow, and I hope that today really sets you up for feeling your best self and stepping into your power in this next year. That's so exciting. All right, who's ready to pull a card? Let's do it. Today we're going to pull from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Very much looks like a Pluto energy, right? It's got that dark, mysterious vibe. And the moon right now is getting some activation from Pluto. So I just felt like this dark deck was the energy we wanted to use today. And all of these cards have to do with the moon phases. So maybe this will bring us a message of what we need to know ahead of eclipse season. And I keep saying eclipse season. So what does that mean? Well, we have this partial lunar eclipse on Friday in Taurus, and then the following new moon in Scorpio on Sagittarius, on December 4th will also be a solar eclipse. So eclipses are known as times where things get a little chaotic. Kings have been dethroned during eclipses. There have been crazy natural disasters during eclipses. It can almost be seen as a time when we're out of control. Our luminaries are blocked. Our sun and our moon are blocked. So not a great time for manifestation, to be honest with you. If you are calling in anything specific, I would say maybe today is one of the last days you should do it. Definitely not going to want to manifest or do those full moon rituals as you normally would on Friday. And the next month could bring a lot of changes. It could be a wild ride. We don't know what's coming, but you might be already starting to tap into that energy that changes are coming. So let's see. This deck is a little bit big. I have like the smallest hands, so it's hard for me to shuffle bigger decks. Okay, what do we need to know on this Mars day, on this Tuesday, with all of this Pluto energy acting us, pushing us into our transformation and helping us to release in order to be reborn? What do we need to know? Oh, what a great card. Card number 33, if that means anything to you. It is the Flower Moon card, and the message here is blossoming. We've been talking about death and rebirth. We've been talking about transformation. We've been talking about giving yourself credit for how much you've grown so far this year. This is your reminder that you are blossoming, that you are becoming the next version of yourself. Think about Scorpio season as the roots underneath the plant, and you are the plant. You are blossoming. So even if it doesn't feel like it quite yet, you are rooting yourself down, doing that deeper work, going into your own underworld, going underground with yourself in order to set yourself up to blossom in 2022. Or you might already starting to be feeling that blossoming energy, that transformative, beautiful, powerful energy, expressing your essence more authentically. What do you think? Should we read what the deck has to say as well, or the little guidebook? I think so. Big yes to a flower moon. Yes, we love a flower moon. Flower moon's normally in spring, of course, when everything is blossoming, but I see this card as a signal that spring can come anytime when it comes to our own transformation. We can be reborn at any time. We don't have to wait for the seasons. Wow, that card so resonates with me exactly this morning. Yes, I love to hear that, Jackie. Okay, so if you saw the flower moon card and you're like, yes, that is my card. Well, here is what the little flower or Queen of the Moon, oracle book has to say about it. Blossoming, as my dogs are scratching. Blossoming. Do not give up. You have planned for this. Take no notice of what others think or say about you. Open and rise. Someone around you may be jealous of your success. Mark your victories. The mantra here is, I joyfully blossom and feel no fear. In the country in which I live, there really aren't a lot of meadows, that classic kind of gently rolling open space, often between a forest or mountains. This kind of space whispers to you, here, rest a while, lay down, my friend, it's soft. The first true meadow I saw was in Yosemite National Park in the United States. It was early spring, the snows had pretty much stopped, and nature had taken her opportunity. In front of me, as far as I could see, was a green meadow of grasses covered in blossoming flowers. It was so beautiful, it almost made me cry. I just stood there for a long while, taking it all in. It felt so hopeful and new and joyful. So I felt hopeful and renewed and joyful as well. I walked into the meadow and was soon surrounded by this blossoming. The flower fragrance drifted up with the breeze. There was a dusting of pollen on my clothes. I could hear the contented buzzing of a few insects. In that moment, I was so grateful to be part of the meadow. Anything seemed possible here. There is a time to blossom. We plant seeds, physically and metaphorically, so they will blossom into what we intend. Perhaps the journey has been a long and hard one, but we shouldn't give up, especially if we are close. Fear is usually the thing that prevents flow and blossoming. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of change, fear of what people think. I could go on, but know if we can release the useless fears and begin to enjoy our growth and eventual blossoming, it will all be worthwhile. And this little deck gives a companion stone. So if you have a ruby nearby, that is the stone that goes with today's card. How perfect for all of this Pluto energy. Really give yourself credit for the seeds you've planted so far this year. Really give yourself credit for the work you've done to make sure you have healthy roots, going within, going underneath the ground so that you're setting yourself up to blossom in 2022, and acknowledge any blossoming you're already seeing in yourself. Such a perfect card. The deck never lies. The universe never lies. And I'm so glad it's already resonated with so many people this morning. I love when that happens. So lean into your own transformation. Lean into change today. Give yourself grace, but also give yourself credit for how far you've come. This isn't the end. This isn't the beginning. You're right where you're supposed to be. And all along the way, you can plant new seeds, have those new revelations, and allow for further blossoming in the future. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. I will see you right back here at 7:30 tomorrow. Or we also have our second episode of The Spiritual Journalist streaming live today, right here where you're watching at 10 o'clock. So we're talking with Morgan. You can find her at Rising with Morgan. She is a tarot reader. We're talking all things tarot, oracle cards, how she got into it, and what she thinks it means to be a modern witch. We're not talking about casting spells or anything here. We're talking about tapping into divine feminine energy and this movement of women identifying as witches and what that really means. And then we'll also be going into how to trust our intuition more, because all of her work revolves around her intuition. So she'll be guiding us through that as well. So you can follow at the.spiritual.journalist or on my page here at Olivia DeGeneiro if you're watching on the stream. And we'll be posting updates before we go live. But tune in right here at 10 o'clock. It's going to be an awesome conversation. Or you can always watch it later on YouTube or find the podcast version wherever you enjoy podcasts. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you tomorrow. I hope you have the best day. Until then,